wanted to tell you was, so I recognize that I'm going through some crazy times for me, and it's difficult, and I don't like it, and I get bent out of shape, and then I recover, and I go through this process all the while, and I will probably cut this out.
Take your time. Take a deep breath in through 6 seconds and hold it and then release 6 seconds.
That's really effective.
The other thing you can do is just tap.
Oh, the tapping. Yeah.
The tapping is really, but like the 6-second breath is like a lifesaver.
You had no kidding, right?
Yeah, I just gotta
So,
take a
I know okay, sorry about that.
You have absolutely nothing to be sorry about. I love you. This is a safe space.
This is why it sucks to care about people right here, right? I know. All right. So this is where I'm like, I think my life's a mess, right? And I'm struggling and blah, 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 blah. And then here's my friend, right? Yeah. And it just puts things into like this really, really clear perspective for me sometimes. And I'm not saying I don't believe that people that lose their jobs, have no money, worry about living on the streets, don't have the same right to be stressed out.
It's a different stress.
As someone with cancer, right? Because you do. Because it's your life and you're living it, and you're bound to, like, you run into these struggles, and we should validate those for sure. But I'm like, gosh golly, the upside of this, I mean, I have my health.
Yes, you do.
And I have wonderful friends. I have the 2 cutest cats in the world.
On the planet.
On the planet. So it's always, and that's why I think freedom, and that's why I don't want to give this up, is because then we say, what do we do about those people that see a black man and immediately freak out and want to kill him, right? We don't give up. We just don't give up, right? So that did not go the way I expected, but oh well, here we are.
Life doesn't go as we expect it to go, right?
It never does. So before we get to a topic, I wanted to do an update for you on something, this is something new. It's not going to be a feature in our show, I'm sure, but I came across something yesterday and I went, this is what I was trying to describe to freedom. So I'm going to use this as a moment to reiterate a topic we had earlier.
Okay.
I actually don't remember what episode this was, but it's in there somewhere. And I had said to you, and I know it wasn't the stereotypes one because that one's coming up, but just in case it was, it'll be okay because this is going to play after that anyway. But I had said to you that, when I see people that look like me on the screen, typically they're the bad guy, right? They're stupid, fat ladies. Back in the day, they always played the bad guy, or they always played the dumb one, or the obnoxious one that nobody liked. And that's what I would see all the time on the screen as a fat lady. It has changed in the recent history, because come to find out, some of us fat ladies are just as fantastic as some skinny ladies, right? So there's that. But what was interesting is I've been watching Agatha Christie's Poirot, which is not easy for me to say. I hate saying that word. Hercule Poirot. Anyways, on BritBox, and season 13, last season there was 2 different episodes where a child was killed. Yeah. And normally that would be people's reaction. Oh, that's so terrible. But both of the children were fat kids, fat kids, that people were okay that they were dead.
That's horrific.
Yeah, it is what happens. This is what happens, whether we like it or not, right? It's I mean, you didn't celebrate the deaths of the children, but you were kind of like, oh yeah, I can see it. Because they were obnoxious kids. Nobody liked them. But if they were cute little pretty little girls, they wouldn't have killed them off. So I was just like, yeah, that's what it's like. It isn't always like that. And again, it's not so much like that at this point, because you have great role models now that are doing great things that don't happen to be anorexically thin. And I don't have anything against anorexically thin women. I worry about them.
You want
Right.
to shoot a hot dog down their
Oh my
throat.
God. Well, so that's the other thing on Instagram. I'd watched that 60 Minutes segment where they were talking about young girls end up with all of these visuals of these really, really skinny women. And I had never seen it, right? But I didn't go looking for it either. Whereas maybe some girls do based on their searches, fashion,
Mm-hmm.
weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm searching the other way, food, restaurants, right? That's where I am. I get a lot of that, but I'll be gosh golly if the other day I didn't get 2 in a row of these girls that were so horrifically thin, like startling, terrifyingly, face caved in. One of them was in recovery. So she obviously knew she was skinny and she was trying to, and it was about what she was eating. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, right? And then the next one was this girl just showing off herself in an outfit who, when she turned sideways, I was like, where'd she go? She was that skinny, like terrifyingly skinny. And so it was my first time actually seeing it. And I was like, oh my God, no.
Startling, yeah.
So, it's the grass is always greener, and that's the other thing that I'm going to use my soapbox for. And it's true because, like, I'm irritated by the Paris Hilton commercial where they're carrying all her luggage into her hotel room and where do you want your luggage? In the adjoining room. Like, her luggage gets its own room at Hilton. And I shake my head, right? Like, I'm just like, oh my God, I fucking hate this commercial. I hate everything this commercial stands for. I'm not particularly liking you right now, right? And then I think, what did she think when she had to make that commercial, right? Like, was there a moment in her where she's like, I really don't want to do this, but I'm gonna guess. I know. See, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I know,
I don't think it even crossed her mind because that's her world, right? Like that would mean having, and maybe she has empathy or thinks about others that literally can't even afford a hotel room. But like,
right.
I don't think that is even remotely in her sphere.
I get it. And you're probably right, but there's still part of me that's like, and this is my problem, and I get it, is I'm like, can somebody be that detached from the entire world?
Remember that was a big thing. I don't know if you remember this. It was 41, George Bush, the first George Bush Sr., and he was, I believe, at a town hall event, and someone asked him, there was inflation, very similar to what we're dealing with, not to the same degree. And he said something about a gallon of milk. He's like, what is it? Like $50 now? I mean, like he literally had no idea. And that really, like his numbers in the polls went way down because he was so disconnected from the average everyday person.
Yeah. Wow.
It's the same thing. I just think that if you're totally not, I mean, if you're not living that life, even if you have at one point, it's really hard. I think just the way our brains are set up and the way that in terms of that hierarchy of need, like they they've always had everything fulfilled to the umpth degree, right? Like, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe that's my own bias. Like, in my own bias is that really wealthy people are probably pretty disconnected. I mean,
Well, they certainly are, obviously, from milk. Although I couldn't tell you how much a gallon of milk is. I could tell you it's somewhere between $2 and $5.
yeah, I couldn't tell you either because I don't drink it.
Right.
Like,
But I do know, in general,
in general, right? Like, you know,
and I
it's
do
not
know that,
$50.
right. I do know in general, not like groceries have gone up. Sure. I also know in general, my power bill has doubled.
Oh my God. My power bill for 1 month was $500.
Oh my God, freedom. When I say mine doubled, it went from 40 to 80. But then again, I also live in Las Vegas, Nevada, so we don't
I
have
know,
a heater situation like you guys do.
I was just shocked. Like, I literally called the electric company because
Good
I'm like,
for
this
you.
can't be right. Like, there's something wrong. So I wasn't even home it was in the month of December, and I was literally in Arizona
Yeah.
pretty much the entire month. Now, I had friends staying here that were in and out. So then I thought, well, God, one of them maybe like put the heat at like 90 degrees or something crazy. I don't know. But then it happened again in January where I was home and it wasn't even that cold. I mean, yes, I had the heat on it, but I couldn't fucking believe it. And the woman said, she was like, we've gotten so many calls. She went down this path of like blaming Ukraine, and she's like, not to get political, but we really,
Oh,
really impacting people. And I was
you know
like,
what?
well,
I don't believe any of that.
I don't either. And I said, I know that you've probably been given these talking points from the company, but I'm like, I absolutely do not believe that I'm like, they're using that as an excuse to jack our rates up.
Yeah.
Like, all this is, and then
Where are the Republicans now, right? Do they not care that their power bills have doubled?
they blame the Democrats, right? It's easy.
Yeah, whatever. Fuckers. Excuse my language. All right.
Safe space.